Sneasler is not one of my favorite Pokemon. That would be overstating it, but it is a Pokemon that I like quite a bit. I think it's a very funny design, and a good riff on the classic Pokemon Sneasel that I also like a lot, without calling it one of my absolute favorites. And I'd heard about the combination of Sneasler and Choice Band Dragapult in Regulation H before the Baltimore Regional. I kind of wanted to try it out. So when the teams from that regional came out, I went looking through the standings for Sneasler Dragapult teams, and I've grabbed what I believe is the highest placing one, used by Kyle Livinghouse, unless I missed something when I was scrolling through. This one also uses Grassy Seed Sneasler with Rillaboom to set up the terrain, and then just a bunch of threats in Focus Sash, Glamora, Assault Vest, King Gambit, and Quiver Dance Volcarona. Once again, I don't have the original creators' EVs, at least at the time that I'm recording. They're not public, so I made up my own spreads, and I can pretty well guarantee that this team is worse than the actual one that was used in Baltimore, but we'll give it a go anyway and see what we can do with the Sneasler. My understanding is typically with this team, you lead Dragapult, U-turn out, draw in its threats, and then Sneasler with its fairy and poison coverage covers a lot of the things that... with its fighting and poison coverage, covers a lot of the things that handle Dragapult pretty well. The poison, of course, helping into opposing fairy types, which is why I had fairies on the brain. Anyway, and right off the bat, we get something that looks like the Baltimore winning team that I used in my last serious team video. Also the last one that I recorded. Little behind-the-scenes peek there. Except this is a more offensive setup with Rillaboom for the grass type and Goldango instead of Incineroar. So they're just going to throw a lot of offense at us. I don't hate Glamora in a lead spot here. There are a few different ways that they can give me my Toxic Debris. I do have to be wary of the Pelipper, though. But I think I'm okay to lead Dragapult, Glamora, Sneasler in the back, and I can bring Rillaboom to help cover the... Does this make me too weak to Goldango? I think we can still play around Goldango. So, to help cover the water types is the end of that thought with Rillaboom. So we'll do that. As it's Pelipper and Archaludon. I would like to just rip off a strong attack into the Pelipper with Dragapult, but I don't really have anything readily available. I can just click Phantom Force into that slot. It loses a ton of momentum if they bring in the Mousehold. I can click Phantom Force into Archaludon instead, and just go right for an Earth Power into Archaludon with Glamora, as the Pelipper actually protects, so... That's a good turn one for me. They knock Glamora down to its Sash. Am I willing to sack Glamora here to potentially get rid of the Archaludon? I think I have to be a little more patient than that. I'll go for a Spiky Shield. No, they probably don't have Protect on the Archaludon on this team. Nonetheless, I do keep Glamora alive for now. And just land that Phantom Force to take out Basculegion right away, so I love that. Archaludon did throw away the stamina boost that it got there. They don't have a Fairy type. They could have Goldango in the back. Oh, well, I can't just click Outrage because I'm locked into Phantom Force. Of course, kind of forgot about the Choice Band there. I think I'm okay to just Phantom Force into Archaludon now. And I don't especially want to go Rillaboom, because I'll give recovery to the Archaludon if I do. Don't especially want to sack Sneasler, so I think we do sack Glamora here. Even though it probably won't get an attack off through the opponent's Tailwind. As they actually... Okay, they tried to Draco Meteor Dragapult, but Dragapult's still faster than Archaludon under the opponent's Tailwind. And I'm okay with bringing Rillaboom in here. I don't have a good attack for Rillaboom to hit the Archaludon. I can just throw a Wood Hammer at Pelipper. I also can Terra Water if I want to take a Hurricane. I think that kind of is what I have to do here. They switch Archaludon out to Mousehold, so this time they're not fooled by the Phantom Force targeting. But Rillaboom does take the Hurricane after going Terra Water, knocks Pelipper down to its Sash, and survives. That's big. I can't stay locked into Phantom Force with the Mousehold on the field, so I think I have to switch Dragapult out here. And I'm just going to go for a Grassy Glide into Pelipper. If they protect around it and knock Rillaboom out, so be it. But I don't have protect on Rillaboom. So once again, we're being a little bit aggressive. Just notice my opponent's username is Big Evil Peter. I don't know where they got that from, but that's kind of funny. Maybe it's a reference to something I don't know about. There are many such references out there. They do protect Pelipper. They'll probably... Are they knocking out Rillaboom here? Yeah, they are. The Population Bomb. Okay. Wait. They only got the first hit. That's wild. They don't knock out Rillaboom because they only landed one Population Bomb. Good thing the mouse hold I used last video was a better shot than that. Also, I've just noticed they're using Family of 4 mouse hold, which is another difference from the team that won Baltimore. Anyway, they still haven't used their Terra. Nonetheless, I'm just going to go for a close combat into mouse hold. I could Dire Claw mouse hold, actually, and not take the drop. But no, I think close combat is a little bit safer. And I'll try again for the Grassy Glide into the Pelipper slot. Probably should have read the switch to our Chaladon there, but too late now. But I do get to just take out mouse hold. And now I could just go for Grassy Glide into Pelipper and close combat into our Chaladon. If Pelipper protects, so be it. I still have Dragapult in the back. There's the Terra on the Chaladon. So it takes the close combat, but it takes a lot of damage. And Dire Claw might just knock it out now. They go for Electroshot into Sneasler. Okay, makes sense, considering what I just said. But I still get Choice Banded Dragapult in, and with Grassy Terrain still on the field, can I not just Grassy Glide Pelipper and lock into U-turn on our Chaladon? I think I can. I could also go Dragon Darts here, but I think I like the U-turn damage, as that does come through and win the game. So, good start with this team. Got Wolf's Glick. Wolf's Glick. We got Wolf Glick's team again. Guess it's not surprising, recording shortly after Baltimore, that people are using his stuff. Of course, he releases his teams on his Patreon. I stay away from using them in my videos because if he wants to paywall his EVs, I don't think I should leak them. I could probably use them without leaking the EVs sometime. And I mean, I didn't leak the EVs I'm using right now, so maybe I'll do that some other time. But, you know, give money to Wolf on Patreon if you want to see his tournament teams. No affiliation, I just am a Patreon member myself. Anyway, and a fan, of course. Okay, all that rambling and I don't know what I'm doing here. I could try to set up Volcarona in this game. I kind of like that. I could, like, lead Glamora Volcarona. Nah, I do have Iron Head on the King Gambit. I think I like Glamora Volcarona. Threaten the Weezing if they lead with that. I do have to be alert to the Spore from the Toad's Cruel, but I mean, we'll just deal with that if we have to. I think Dragapult makes a lot of sense as a threat to bring in the back. And I haven't really answered the Garchomp very well, but with the Pokemon I have left, it's probably responsible to bring Rillaboom. I kind of wanted to just bring the Sneasler, but I think Rillaboom might be the wiser choice. Yeah, so somebody's going to take a Spore here. Well, I could Terra Grass the Glamora, actually, and just go for like a Sludge Bomb into Toad's Cruel. I don't hate that. Or go for Earth Power into Weezing. I believe it's Terra Fire Weezing on Wolf's team. So I actually am going to do that. I'm just going to Terra Grass and go and attack the Weezing. And I'll just throw off a Heat Wave with Volcarona, if they let me. Which, of course, they don't. But Weezing takes a lot from that Earth Power. And what does it go for? Strange Steam into Glamora. Unfortunately, I did turn off my resistance to that. But maybe I'm going to protect Glamora here, and maybe I get the first turn Wake with Volcarona and catch the Weezing with a Heat Wave. That could give me a lot of momentum if it works. They actually switch Weezing out. Hitting Corviknight would be good too. They try to finish off Glamora with the Acid Spray Toadscruel. I think I want to preserve Glamora. It's a little tricky to do. I feel kind of weird about switching Rillaboom in on the Corviknight, but I think that is what I'm going to do. And I think it works out okay if I can just get this Volcarona awake. It does wake up here. Gets the Quiver Dance. But then gets knocked out by Corviknight's Brave Bird. Okay. I think I used my Terra wrong this game. I think using the Terra on the Glamora didn't really give me much benefit, and it took away the option to go Terra Fairy on the Volcarona. So that was, I think, the big mistake in how I played this one. I'm just going to target a Woodhammer into the Toadscruel slot, and I guess a Phantom Force into the Corviknight slot. We just knocked the Toadscruel out, so that's good. We get Tailwind up. Is Weezing coming back in? Thing is, Weezing can't really do much in the way of taking hits at this point. But there it is. Is it worth a Grassy Glide into Weezing? I don't think Wolf ran speed on it, if I'm remembering correctly. Oh, but they do have, there is the Brave Bird from the Corviknight, and they're in Tailwind. I'll Grassy Glide the Weezing and hope it KOs. But I actually didn't think it would, but it does. Okay. And get a big Phantom Force into Corviknight. The Brave Bird recoil will not knock it out, but chip it down a decent amount. Unfortunately, Glamora is coming in with 2 turns of Tailwind left. Just going to Spiky Shield this turn. And Phantom Force into Typhlosion. The Focus Sash is on the Palmet, I believe, so if they had brought that, I think I just wouldn't have enough chances left to hit it at this point, but if I can... First of all, if I can get a Phantom Force off, and I can. Good. Then if I land that into the Typhlosion with a Choice Band, hopefully it KOs. I think I just have to try the double Protect on Glamora, because otherwise Glamora just drops this turn and doesn't accomplish anything. But it could be faster than something if it survives the turn. And we'll just get this Phantom Force, hopefully KO the Typhlosion. But looks like we lost. We do KO the Typhlosion, but the Corviknight knocks out Dragapult. And survives on 4% even after the Brave Bird recoil. So yeah, I don't like the way I used my Terra in that game. Is the main takeaway there. I kind of just had to throw the Volcarona away in the end. Here we have... pretty standard Rain team, except no Basculegion. They've gone double grass with Amogus and Rillaboom instead. It's interesting. Incineroar is a bit of a threat to Dragapult. Intimidate won't work on it, but I don't want Dragapult taking a knockoff, so I have to keep that in mind. I think leading Dragapult is still worth it though. And this time we will bring the Sneasler stuff in the back. I think Assault Vest King Gambit is probably reasonable in this game. On the other hand, I also like Glamora. Well, Glamora's okay. I think we try the King Gambit out this game. And I'll bring Sneasler for sure. I could still bring Glamora. In fact, I could bring Glamora as a lead and King Gambit in the back. In fact, I don't think Rillaboom is doing that much into most of these Pokemon. Even though the Unburden activation would be nice, I think I have talked myself into Dragapult, Glamora, King Gambit, Sneasler. They lead Rillaboom or Chaladon. And let's just go right for a U-turn into Rillaboom and Unearth Power into our Chaladon. Should grab some momentum, even if they shut part of this play down. Of course, they can't fake out Dragapult because it's a Ghost type. And if they fake out Glamora, then I get Toxic Debris. Which is why I'm willing to play this way with Glamora right now. Okay, the U-turn does about 2/3 to the Rillaboom. I think I can bring King Gambit in here. Yeah, our Chaladon goes Terra Grass immediately, so it takes the Earth Power very well. I don't love that Rillaboom knocked Glamora down to its Sash there. I would love to go for a Sludge Bomb into our Chaladon But I think this turn I Spiky Shield. And I think I can Kowtow Cleave into the Rillaboom slot. Well, hold on. Your Chaldon probably has Body Press. I could Terra Fire King Gambit. I could switch Dragapult back in. I think I actually like switching Dragapult back in and Spiky Shield. It's a bit of a passive turn, but if they get greedy and try to knock out the Glimmora here... Yeah, exactly. Rillaboom drops the Spiky Shield damage. We avoid the Body Press. I should be in position to get a Sludge Bomb off into our Chaldon now. Ideally, we poison it. That would be very nice. We'll see what their next Pokemon is. Incineroar. So they can fake out Glimmora here. It's probably best that I not leave Glimmora in this turn, unfortunately. I kind of want to U-turn Incineroar, but I kind of don't know what I want to bring in if I do. I think I'll do it anyway. But I also think I switch Glimmora out here and get King Gambit back in. No, I think I am just going to go for the Sludge Bomb. There's nobody I want to switch in. If they do that, I get the second layer of Toxic Debris. And yeah, I kind of figured our Chaldon was probably going to attack the Dragapult slot. That does fit the way it's been playing so far. Now, it's tricky. I don't think you bring Pelipper with these other Pokemon. I'm just going to call it and Terra Fire the King Gambit. Go for a low kick into Incineroar. And I'll Spiky Shield Glimmora again. If I get rid of Incineroar, they have no more fake out pressure for the rest of the game. I still want to get that big Sludge Bomb into our Chaldon. I am mistaken. They did bring Pelipper. But this at least will break a Focus Sash if it has that. It's not great though, is it? I'm gonna Sucker Punch the Pelipper and finally try to get that Sludge Bomb into our Chaldon. Sucker Punch does a lot of damage. So does Sludge Bomb, actually. I would like to poison our Chaldon. Don't manage to do that. They do finally knock out Glimmora. And this, I think, will knock out King Gambit. But hopefully I've accumulated enough damage that Dragapult and Sneasler can clean up now. Unfortunately, I would get the Unburden if I brought Sneasler in just a turn earlier, but I don't. But I think on this team, Pelipper probably doesn't have Wide Guard. I can click Dragon Darts. I also could just lock into Outrage at this point. I think that's a little safer just in case they do have Wide Guard. So I'll just do, Banded Outrage. And I'll target a Dire Claw into our Chaldon. But hopefully Outrage will knock something out, and that will decide what Dire Claw's actual target is. As it knocks out Pelipper. Dire Claw, ooh, just misses the KO on our Chaldon. And I lose Dragapult. And that might cost me the game. What moves do I have on Sneasler? I have Protect, so I'll Protect around the Fake Out pressure. I think Sneasler can probably beat Incineroar. Their Chaldon probably doesn't have Protect, so I can knock it out with a Dire Claw this turn. I don't think Incineroar will one-shot Sneasler. No, that knockoff does 1/3, and it'll do less now that I don't have an item. They could have Flare Blitz. I'm just going to Protect, if only to get that little bit more poison damage, but I think I KO with Close Combat at this point anyway. Did they ever use their Terra? Yeah, that was our Chaldon. And they see the Close Combat coming, so they just forfeit. That was a good game. I enjoyed that one. Now we have an opposing Sneasler team. No Dragapult on this one, but now this looks like some of the stuff I've been trying on my own initiative lately. Although I haven't tried Excadrill yet, I do want to. I think leading Dragapult into this is okay. I do have to be alert to the Primarina, so I think I bring Rillaboom. Do I lead Rillaboom? I think leading Rillaboom is reasonable. Maybe as a lead combination, it's a little weak to Talonflame. I think I could lead Dragapult Glamora and bring Sneasler Rillaboom in the back. I think that's what I like into this. Rillaboom helps me cover for the Primarina. These Pokemon are threatening Glamora. I can Terrastalize it. I also can just get Toxic Spikes up if they attack it. I think I do want to Terrastalize Glamora. I think the first thing I do here... Maybe I'm accidentally sacking Dragapult to the Excadrill, but live and learn. I'll just go for a U-turn into Tyranitar and Terra Grass Earth Power into Excadrill. As they actually target Glamora with the Excadrill. So they give me a layer of Toxic Spikes, and I get the U-turn off. I'll bring Rillaboom in here. Get the grassy terrain set up. Knock Excadrill very low. And I'm definitely putting a lot of pressure on my opponent already, which is good. I think I could just go right for a Grassy Glide into the Excadrill slot here and an Earth Power into Tyranitar. And yeah, they have to kind of play defensively around that. But they do knock Glamora out with the Rock Slide crit there. But these Pokemon are so low, and I have 2 layers of Toxic Spikes. I'm still threatening priority with Rillaboom. I can get the Sneasler in here. I can go Grassy Glide into Excadrill. And just throw a close combat at Tyranitar. Maybe this is where Tyranitar switches out. It occurs to me that they do... If they have their Sneasler in the back, that will absorb the Toxic Spikes when it comes in. Maybe the fact that they haven't shown it yet should be taken as evidence that they didn't bring it. A nice little effect of the Grassy Seed is that I'm still not at -1 defense. I've just gotten rid of the boost. They do have their Sneasler, so they absorb the Toxic Spikes. And we got a Mirror on the field, but I still have Dragapult in the back, so I think that's a relatively good position for me to be in. On the other hand, my Rillaboom is not very useful from here. I'm just going to target a Wood Hammer into their Sneasler, but they can stop that pretty easily, I think, if they want to. And I'll protect my Sneasler around a possible Fake Out. They do go for Fake Out. Oh, they double target my Sneasler, so Rillaboom will get its attack off. It does decent damage to their Sneasler. And let's just... I think let's just go for a Grassy Glide and Dire Claw into their Sneasler this turn. No, I'm not running max speed Sneasler. I have an Adamant Nature, so theirs could be faster. But... I think I have good pressure on their Sneasler here. They show the Terra Fire on Rillaboom. Dragapult in the back won't care about that. As my Sneasler gets paralyzed, fully paralyzed. Oh, that's really bad. They knock it out with a Woodhammer crit. Well, I think Dragapult can still win this, but that turn really got flipped around on me there. But I'm gonna try to I'm gonna go for a Woodhammer into their Sneasler, but I'm also gonna lock into Dragon Darts. So maybe Dragapult knocks out their Sneasler first, and then I get the Woodhammer into their Rillaboom. Looks like that is what's going to happen, as I get the crit with Dragon Darts. Kind of a wild game here. My Rillaboom will knock theirs out. Even if it didn't, Grassy Terrain isn't up, so they don't have priority Grassy Glide, and Dragapult will go first next turn, guaranteed. That was a wild game, but... yeah, my Pokemon just put on, even with the Toxic Spikes doing nothing in the end, my Pokemon just put on so much offensive pressure that their team couldn't keep up, and the Dragapult was kind of a key part of that. I've talked up the Sneasler a lot in this video because I think Sneasler is a funny Pokemon, but Banded Dragapult, being one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, able to U-turn out, come back in, do spread damage, go nuts with Phantom Force, which of course goes through Protect, or with Outrage, which is just very strong. I haven't even gone Terra Dragon yet. It's just overpowering so many teams, so I can see why this combination of Pokemon was getting buzzed before Baltimore. Here we have a Porygon 2 Ursaluna team, but it's Blood Moon Ursaluna with a bunch of balance pieces around them that could play pretty well in Trick Room. I don't know how I beat Porygon 2 with this team. I don't know if that was his undoing in Baltimore, but yeah, right off the bat, I'm a bit concerned about this one. I think I want to get Toxic Spikes up if I can, so... and they don't have a Poison type this time, unless they have a Terra Poison on something. So let's lead Dragapult Glamora, let's bring Sneasler I kind of like King Gambit. I don't like King Gambit that much. King Gambit is weak to ground, whether or not I terrestrialize it. I don't think it's that good into Primarina. I don't think it's that good into Volcarona. I could bring Rillaboom. Rillaboom has some clear weaknesses on their team, but no Pokemon I bring is going to beat everything. I could bring Volcarona and try to set that up if I get the right targets. I think Volcarona could be good here. I feel like I'm going for the higher risk, higher reward play. The lower ceiling and the higher floor versus Rillaboom. But we'll see how it goes. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like I just don't have anything to threaten the Porygon 2 enough in this position. On the other hand, the King Gambit might just protect. Or it might just Sucker Punch into Dragapult. That would be pretty unpleasant for me. I'm actually just going to hard switch Dragapult out to Volcarona, see how they play the King Gambit here, and go for an Earth Power into King Gambit. Maybe that's silly. It probably is an Assault Vest. Well, that did good damage. Honestly, I considered Sludge Bombing Porygon 2 in the hope that I would poison it. That might have been a better play, but just kill the first turn of Trick Room here and see how they play this. If they click Swords Dance again on the King Gambit, then they got me good. But that is not what they went for. Here, I can try to get rid of the King Gambit, and if Glamora is knocked down to its Sash, I can still try to... Okay, they might be double targeting Glamora. They're not. They're knocking out Volcarona. I really don't feel good about letting them do that. I also don't get any kind of poison on the field the way this turn went. And someone is calling me, which I'm just going to ignore for now. But my bad if you can hear that. I could fake out King Gambit and try to attack Porygon 2 again, but the Porygon 2 can knock out Glamora is the problem. Glamora takes more than half from the Ice Beam. Let's double protect again. But I think they just got me. I don't think I can break through this. And I do kind of wonder what this matchup is supposed to be for this team. As I do think that they'll just knock out both my Pokemon here and then Dragapult in the back. Even with Trick Room ending, we'll be unable to win the game. I kind of have to lock into... Well, there's nothing I can lock into that's safe, right? This is immune to Phantom Force. This is immune to my Dragon attacks. U-turn just doesn't do enough. I'll lock into Dragon Darts. And just drop to a Sucker Punch. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty clear from early on where that one was going. Now we get a Mouse Ape team with Sinistcha. Oh, they only have 5 Pokemon. We're at the only 5 Pokemon part of the ladder. So they're just all in on setting up Maushold and Annihilate. With that in mind... I feel like the Pokemon I have that threatens the most damage into Annihilate is Dragapult, but it only works without the Follow Me. But I can just lead Dragapult Sneasler then, right? And threaten them that way. And I can bring Rillaboom. And I think I'll bring Glamora. Okay, I think that phone call was just about a delivery I'm expecting tomorrow. Should be fine. But there's a voicemail message that I'll listen to when I'm done here. Just gonna lock into Dragon Darts and protect Sneasler as I go Annihilate here. And actually, I'm kind of setting up their Rage Fist for them playing this way. Well, they get to beat up off into it anyway. Get the Dragon Darts damage up and Try to get a Dire Claw into something. They go Incineroar. Of course, Dragapult will not be intimidated. And we get both darts off into Incineroar here because of the smart targeting, and I think just knock it out with the Dire Claw. But I knew in this matchup I just had to not let the Annihilate get set up, and I did it anyway. But we're just going to deal with that now. Poison? Sleep. So I lose Dragapult with net 0 damage on Annihilate. Maybe I can poison the ape here after I get rid of Sinistcha. No poison. Glimmor's knocked down to its sash. It can at least get another shot. Let's do what I can to these mice. As they target Glimmora, unfortunately I guess Beat Up is not a contact move. And I can no longer switch Glimmora out. And I think I'm just going to lose to the Annihilate. I'll try to knock out the Mouse Hold here and get another Sludge Bomb into Annihilate, but I think Annihilate is just too bulky and powerful at this point. So it was obvious that there was one thing this team wanted to do, but I played into it anyway. And that went badly for me, to say the least. I guess I should be... Well, Annihilate resists both of Glimmora's stabs. I don't know that Earth Power would be much more convincing. I'll try it here. But yeah, okay. So we lose to the, I think it's fair to say, hard Mouse Ape team. That whole team was just about setting up Mouse Ape. They didn't even have a 6th Pokemon. But I didn't know how to beat that setup with this team, clearly. Maybe something with Volcarona would have been interesting. But yeah, I don't know. There are some matchups I didn't figure out in this quick little session using this team, but it's a fun team for sure. I enjoyed it a lot when it worked, and I think there are ways to figure out the situations where it didn't work. I mean, there's a reason it got as far as it did in a major tournament, but that was the Sneasler, and that was definitely the Dragapult show, with Dragapult putting in a lot of work. And I don't know what I'll use for my next tournament team video. There are a couple more Baltimore ones that I want to try out, but also I think there's a tournament in Europe happening soon after this goes public, so we'll see. But lots of fun Pokemon, lots of fun teams doing well in tournaments, so no shortage of options to try out next time. This is the Sneasler signing off.